This is Joan with the Joan Jerkovich Show at 910 KINA Salina. I'm bringing you innovative talk radio that surprises, entertains, and sometimes even informs you. This morning I have two very interesting guests today. My first guest will be talking to me about the Prairieland Market, a local foods market here in Salina. And then I absolutely want you to stay tuned for my second guest, who is Wes Jackson, the co-founder of the Land Institute. We're playing this show on the very weekend that they're having their Prairie Festival, and I hope that some of the people that have come in from all around the country get a chance to tune into the show. So here we are today with Martha Murchison, and she's one of the, are you a board president of the Prairieland Market?
Yes.
Okay, and you have many titles and many responsibilities. Tell us a little bit about your involvement there.
The market, I have been on the board for 2 years, and I've just become board president. I'm also a producer at the market. I grow the herbs. You can buy my herbs during season, and they're available for sale right now. But I help with the marketing committee and help the market think of new ways to reach out into Salina to help promote and grow our local food market.
So I know a local food market, you talked about, tell me something about the fact that, local food markets don't necessarily mean organic. So what do you do, relative to your producers and growers, and what do you present there at your market?
Our local producers are all chemical free. Mm-hmm. Some of them happen to be organic because they are larger producers and sell to other markets. But all of them will certify that their produce is chemical free. All of our meats, and we have beef, bison, lamb, pork, chicken, turkey. All of the meat is certified chemical free, and the animals are not treated with any hormones. They're also all grass-fed.
And does that also, like when you say chemicals, antibiotics and anything like that? There's none of that in the meats that you sell at the market?
No.
And now, if I'm understanding it, do they have to go through a process to be chemical-free, certified chemical-free, or is that just something that they vouch to?
That is something they vouch to.
Okay.
To become organic, there is quite a lengthy governmental process. And this, for the small producer, would not be cost-efficient, and so they have vouched that they are chemical-free.
Right. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense for a local market here in Salina, that, we're not going to run them through the whole organic process, because that's more for the big producers that are running, products to all the supermarkets and all of that. And I know, Martha, when we talked a little bit in the pre-interview at my office, we mentioned, some of the benefits of buying local is think about how much gas it takes and the economy of scale. When one of the facts I picked up was that a typical carrot has to travel 1,838 miles to reach our dinner table. Now, how close are your carrots? I hope they're
Our carrots are coming from about within 25 miles, okay. If not closer.
Exactly. And that's just another real thing that I think the local food market looks at relative to environmental issues, and I think that's why talking with you this morning is a nice compliment to listening to Wes Jackson, because the Land Institute is all about sustainability. Now tell me too, because you with the Prairieland Market do have some involvement with the festival this weekend, and what are you doing with that?
Well, what we're doing first of all is providing lunch. For years the market has provided the lunch for the festival, and that has been our main fundraiser for the year. So those monies will be invested right back into Salina to help us grow the market. We provide a wonderful lunch of Bossy's Best hot dogs, beef hot dogs and pork hot dogs, all local.
And I've heard of those, but what city are those at? Do you know if it's like just one of the local communities or counties?
Yes, one of the local communities.
Mm-hmm.
And also we will have a bean burrito and local cookies made from wheat grown in Bennington.
And it sounded like you said you've got, the people working on this, you've got a real community effort going on. You have people prepping food, probably, coming up next week, they're going to be starting midweek or so, getting ready for all of the people who influx into town for this festival.
We have been getting ready for it. The market
Okay.
people will be prepping all Friday afternoon.
Uh-huh.
We are also working with another group that's a bit larger that will be providing the dinner. And we have contracted with all of our local producers to produce the food for the 900 people for the dinner at the Prairie Festival.
Wow, I didn't realize there were that many that attend that. 900, that's a crowd.
That's a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And are all of your workers volunteer?
Oh yes, everybody's volunteer. Everybody's volunteering their time, their effort. Now our producers, of course, are paid, but everyone
Right,
helping,
of
everybody
course.
who will be chopping and putting the meal together is volunteer.
Now, how long has the market been in existence here in town? You don't know? Because that's
a fact. I don't
We've been
have
doing
all-
this for years, and I'm thinking, how many
The
years?
market evolved though from a local buying group,
Oh,
and where people bought together and split what they bought, and now it is a full-fledged little grocery store. It's open Monday through Thursday from 2 to 6, and Friday and Saturday from 9 to 6.
and so now, do you have things besides just the local produce and meats and dairy products? Do you have any sort of canned goods, or if you say it's a store, so it's more for
Yes.
your perishables?
Yes, we carry local produce when it's in season.
Right.
And we have all of the meats that I mentioned earlier. We have eggs that are local, but we also have canned goods that are organic, chemical-free. We have bulk items such as rice, beans, lentils, flax seeds, all of those items. We have a good supply of chemical-free herbs that are dried, which you can buy. We have a wide variety now of yogurts. Goat cheeses have been a local, something that's really taken off.
So we have a goat farm close to here.
No, those aren't local.
Oh, okay.
But we have different varieties of goat cheese for those of us who cannot eat cow cheese. I'm one of those. We also have lots of frozen items for vegetarians. We have an extensive array of dairy treats for those who can't eat cow product, dairy milk or other products. We try to work with people who have dietary issues and find them food that they can eat. So a celiac could easily find food for a great meal at the market.
So you're telling me this is more of a one-stop shopping versus maybe even just going down to the local farmer's market, which is just produce for the most part, But you've got pretty much, you can do all of your shopping needs for the week to feed your family at your place, because you've got a bigger variety than I even imagine. And I'm sorry I haven't been down to see your place, but certainly wanted to talk to you this morning. So, and that was one of the things too, that, when you say that your people have certified chemical free, you might have the neighbor that has, some produce to share, but we can't verify that's chemical free, nor can we some of the little stands we see, in the parking lots around town. And because I don't think they're promoting that in that way, which is not important to everyone, but if it is important to someone, to know that they're buying something not certifiably organic but chemical free, they can find that.
Yes, at the market you can find food you can trust.
Right.
And you can trust it to be what we say it is.
Well, and that local food movement is really kind of taking off. Have you been hearing, nationwide? I mean, when I've even traveled, I've seen different things about the local food movements, wherever it might be.
Yes, people around the nation care a great deal about local food. They call themselves locavores.
Yes,
and,
locavores.
In other cities, and this is
carnivores, or
in other cities, restaurants will produce with local food. We have William Justice at the Wood Fashion Cafe uses many of our same producers and also buys his food from the Prairieland Market. But the concern is both how we can grow close to home and save the fuel, save all of those dollars of pollution, but also have food that we can trust, we know what it is, and the sense of community. It is a large thing that we provide some jobs for people.
Well, that's very important. You're trying to keep local people employed. Obviously, the producers, sustaining, or supporting what they're doing with, bringing their products to market, as well as you have some actual paid jobs, and I assume there at the market itself.
Yes.
Right. And now the local food movement, though, is different than sustainable. We talked about that a little bit, but can you make a comparison or a difference between that? you know, sustainable is like no harm to the environment. You know, they're kind of trying to keep sustainability, meaning, you know, we're going to not do anything to harm our, you know, our production, our environment that's bringing us this food.
The market is about both.
Right, right.
We care deeply about this earth. We care deeply. I would almost use the word resilience rather than sustainable, because we want whatever we take from this earth to be able to continue growing and flourishing in this way. So we care deeply, and thus our products are all going to be chemical-free, organic, non-GMO. Some places you will go, you will hear people talk about local without the concern for the sustainable.
That's interesting. To me, they should seem to go hand in hand. And I'm really glad that you brought up, Martha, that resilience, because you're part of a committee that's kind of focusing on resiliency. What is the name of that group?
It's the Resilience Group. It's formed out of the Land Institute. And one thing we look is that as we go into a time where oil is more and more difficult to obtain, we have to use more and more difficult methods to extract it. What will we do when the price of oil forces us to change the distance the carrots come from the market,
right?
The distance the beef comes to the market, and so how can we help Salina prepare for that? And one of the ways is to have outlets like the Prairieland Market where people can come to shop.
Well, and I know that, you know, my thinking on this too is there has to be some kind of a discipline involved with this, because we can't just give in to those cravings for something that's out of season. You know, maybe we could ship it in from somewhere else, but, you know, there are times of the year that you can't get things because they're out of season. What are our winter months like?
Well, in Kansas, we will have root crops. When we read history,
sure.
we are turning to that right now. We've got great new potatoes in at the market. We're going to be having sweet potatoes coming in. Beets are still there. But in the winter, we have lots of squash that keeps very well, lots of winter squash. We do finally have to bring in some things, and we try to do it from as close as possible when we do need to bring in some produce to keep us going. We have, in the winter, we now have some of our producers who will go in what they call a tunnel, which is a fabric-covered device that allows us to have greens. We'll have arugula that's local in February.
Oh, that's exciting. So people are putting up structures to actually, you know, keep this local, keep local produce coming in year round.
Yes, these are methods that you can do that don't take the heat of a greenhouse.
So this is very interesting to me to, you know, hear what we're doing, and mostly I think I want to go out and have one of those bean burritos out at the Prairie Festival and make sure that I go out to the Land Institute. And we're going to have to take a short break here, but I want you to stay tuned and certainly listen to the interview with Wes Jackson, the co-founder of the Land Institute, all of his people in town this weekend for their festival. You're listening to Joan on the Joan Jerkovich Show, and I want you to remember to go to video outtakes. You can see Martha and I talking. I think we might have a little moment to visit off broadcast, but go listen to the video outtakes, go for podcasting, and even a link to iTunes. That's on joanjerkovich.com. You're listening to the Joan Jerkovich Show on 910 KINA Salina. It goes fast.
It does.
Yeah. Wow, I'm very excited to go see your market. We should put your location now.
Oh,
so
yes.
People might watch the video.
You know,
what's your address?
We're on 4th Street, and we didn't talk
About
about the festival
4th.
on 4th either.
Well,
And that's
you know, we
fine.
might do that. We might do that next time. We might have you back or someone who's working with that, you know, to talk about it. So.
Yeah, because Abner's working with that too. I mean, that's
Right.
pretty exciting.
Now, when is that? October?
October the 29th.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
that's a few weeks away yet.
Yes.
And we don't have all our programming up, so that's super. Now, are you actually set up as a nonprofit down there?
No, we are what's called a 501c4
Okay.
because we are a cooperative,
Okay.
and that means if you give money to us, you don't get a tax deduction. That is what that means.
Right. So it's not in that sense.
It's
you
not in
know.
that sense of a 501c3.
So you
but
have to